We're now joined by head coach Jason Rowley and tackle Pierce Banbury of Oakton High School. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Coach, I want to start off with you. Last year's campaign, 5-6. You lose in the first round of the playoffs in a really good game against South Lakes, lose by a touchdown in a close one, kind of went back and forth. Talk a little bit about last year's campaign and the positives and negatives out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had some ups and downs last year, and we suffered through some injuries, and we relied heavily upon some key guys that we ended up graduating. We lost to graduation, and we ended up the season losing in the playoff game. We were up 14 points with just under 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and we just weren't able to put that one to bed. But I think that has encouraged our season this year, our players this year, to say, we're right there, we're on the cusp of things, and to keep moving in the right direction. And so I think they're encouraged by that, and they certainly have made them hungry to get back to that point and make a statement if we can get back there.
Has finish been a theme at all in the preseason and off-season?
Yeah, it's funny. We talked to the seniors right prior to the start of the season here, and one of the things they talked about, one of their goals is to start games and finish them. So it's not just finish, but start them and finish them in the direction that we want to be in.
We'll have more with Coach Rowley and Pierce right after this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new season of Top Plays here at OleMetSports.com and WashingtonPost.com. I'm your host, BJ Kubarulis. Now, as we've done the past 4 seasons, we're continuing our exciting, interactive high school football show that allows you, the coaches, players, parents, and fans, and others, to send in your video submissions for ranking in our Top 10 style weekly show. If you want to see your highlight in this show, well, it's as simple as tweeting your boy. I'm at BJ Koob. And you got to remember to hashtag it, Ole Mets. All right, you can tweet in your Huddle, YouTube, Vimeo, really any video link by Sundays at noon, and we'll consider it for use in the upcoming episode of Top Plays. Now, you got to remember to tune in on Mondays to see if your video made our Top 10 at OleMetSports.com. We'll see you soon.
We're back with Coach Jason Rowley and tackle Pierce Banbury of Oakton High School. And Coach, one of the things I want to ask you about was the fact, obviously, your program emerging a little bit, trying to get back up into that winning echelon. And I always feel like the conference that you're in, the Conference 5 Old Concord District, is it so tough going through a place like that where every game seems to be a slugfest every week, kind of be able to go ahead and break above and get above water and emerge from a league like that?
Well, I think it benefits you when you play in a conference like that. I think that each and every week you're going into a tough contest, and it's playoff atmosphere. And I think what it does is it gets you battle tested for when the playoffs actually come. So if you're able to emerge from that conference, get yourself in the playoffs, you've been battle tested. And I think at any point in time you've got an opportunity in the playoffs because of that road that you've had to go through. You've got an opportunity to compete at least in the playoffs.
Pierce, over to you now. Obviously, something like that where you're playing all these very good teams plus your great non-conference schedule, is it kind of a badge of honor for you to be able to go out and test yourself against high-level competition all the time?
Yeah, definitely. I know all the kids on the team are very excited to play against these types of teams that are very good, so kind of test us and that stuff.
Now, of course, you're a guy that's been in the USA football program, interestingly. Has that prepared you at all for what you come back and play in high school ball?
Yeah, definitely. I was actually down at Towson a couple of weeks ago with the coach from Navy recruiting me. So kind of prepared me for the season because I had an injury during wrestling, so prepared me for that stuff.
Coach, back to you. Obviously, you got some guys like Pierce on the team. Who are some other folks to watch on this squad that are going to have some good years for the Cougars to be successful?
Yeah, I think we're relying upon our offensive line. I think Tim Forrester, he's going to be a 3-year returning starter for us, and he's already committed to Brown University next year. And so Tim is a guy like Pierce that we're relying upon up front. And at quarterback, with Paul Campos coming in, he's going to replace Sal Titoni, who was at quarterback last year. We have a new running back, Elias Lindsay. Played for us last year but didn't play running back, and I think he's going to be a key contributor offensively. And then, of course, John Dado. John played last year for us, and I think he's going to be one of the big targets for us in the passing game.
Let's flip it over to the defensive side of things. Who are some folks to watch over there that have to be successful?
Well, I think it starts in the middle for us with Chris Walton. He's our middle linebacker, and unfortunately he tore his ACL last year at about the midpoint of the season, and in fact it was the second tear of the same knee. We were a little bit concerned about whether he'd be able to recoup and come back, and he has, and he's just a workhorse. In fact, he's one of the guys that was a team captain for us a year ago, and he's just done a tremendous job of getting himself back ready, and he's going to be the key linchpin for us on defense. And then Matt Prosser, who's coming back as well, he's one of the returners as well for us, and he's a safety. And he had a really good season last year, and we're hoping for big things from him as well.
We touched on the tough conference, but again, another tough schedule for you guys. It always seems to be those teams from the Concord are always testing themselves outside of conference play. Talk a bit about the slate in front of you guys this year.
Well, certainly we start with Madison. I mean, we always open the season with Madison, and that's always a tough crosstown rival for us. And you know, records get thrown out the window when you play a game like that. And then we travel to TC week 2, new head coach, and so we're looking forward to seeing meeting that challenge there. And then week 3 is our first home game against Tuscarora, and I think those 3 teams, just right off the bat, you're going to be well tested before we enter conference play the following week. So I think that, you know, and then down the road, you've of course got Broad Run, who had a great, tremendous season last year. And so we certainly have a tough out-of-conference schedule as well, including what we have to face in the conference.
Before we wrap things up, Pierce, I want to ask you, you're committed to the Naval Academy. Why did you go ahead and choose to spend your 4 years in Annapolis?
Oh, I love the school. That was actually my first visit during, I got to see one of the spring practices. Intensity and enthusiasm is incredible there. I got families in the Navy, so it's just a great fit for me.
Well, Pierce, Coach Rowley, thank you so much for joining us today. Folks, you can stay up to date on high school football in the DMV by checking out the Prep Zone every week at DMVSTREAM.COM.